Hey, what is up, Zombie Nation? It's your boy Dame, and today I'm going to teach you how to complete the hat Easter egg. The hat Easter egg will give you every single power-up available in-game at one time and give you roughly 2,000 points as well. There are 10 hat locations, and I'm going to show you all the locations of said hat. So if you do enjoy today's video and it does help you out in any sort of way, please be sure to go down there and leave a like. That would be hella appreciated. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for the best Call of Duty content on all of YouTube, and many tutorials coming up very soon. And of course, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified of exactly of when I upload. But without further ado, let's get straight into that video. So like I said, there are 10 locations for 5 different hats. Each hat have 2 separate locations. I'm going to tell you both locations for each hat, then I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do with these hats to be able to get the power up Easter egg and the free 2,000 points. The first hat we're going to start with is the black hat, which has a slight red triangle on the front. The 2 locations for these are as follows. If you take yourself into the theater and take yourself up to the top floor, near the back you will find a guitar, and on the guitar you will find the first location for the black hat. The second location for this particular hat can be found in the museum. So take yourself into the entrance of the museum, take a left, go up the stairs, you will find a cabinet with some skulls inside, some skull artwork, and that will be your second location right there for the black hat with the red triangle. The next hat is the commander hat, or some are calling it the Rick Toffin hat. This also can be found in 2 locations. The first location can be found within the apartments next to where the dead woman is laid on the bed. If you take yourself up to her room, do a 180 degrees and look at the table with a small plant and a radio on it, you will also find a hat on that table. That is the first location, and the second location for this particular hat can be found again in the museum. You want to take yourself to the top floor of the museum, and right at the back on a cabinet, shelf or dresser, however you want to call it, will be the second location for the Rick Toffin hat, or the commander hat. I'm not sure what hat it is, but it's that hat. The next hat is the detective hat, or I call it the detective hat, you call it however you want to call it, and again this is found in another 2 locations. One of these locations are very tricky, and the hats get very tricky from now. The first location can be found within the theater. If you take yourself into the theater, you will find a big golden Egyptian-like statue, and around the back of that statue on the side will be the first location for this hat. The second location is very tricky. You want to take yourself into the church, and opposite the wardrobe where you collect the golden bowl for one of the melee weapons, you will find a hole in the wall from where zombies are spawned. If you crouch down and look just to the right hand side, you can find a second location for the detective hat, or the bowler hat. The next hat is a grey, what I like to call the Eminem hat. Looks like the kind of hat that Eminem would rock, the Kangol style hat. And again, 2 locations. First location, very easy, can be found within spawn room. As soon as you spawn in, do a 180 degrees turn, and within a suitcase on the floor, you're going to find your first location. The second location for this is very sneaky. You want to take yourself again into the church, go out onto the tiny little balcony next to the speed perk, and underneath the bench, so you're going to have to go prone to be able to see this, you're going to find a second location for this hat. And the 5th and final hat location, or locations, which took about 3 or 4 hours to find the last location for this one. First location can be found within the museum. If you go through the museum from Main Street to the back, at the right hand side of the museum, you're going to find a cabinet with a skull sat on top, and the skull is actually wearing the hat. That is the first location. And the second location can be found within the courtyard. So when you just come out from underground, you will notice on the right hand side next to the theater entrance, there's going to be an old burnt out rusted bus. On the back end of this bus, you're going to find the last location. You can only just see the top of this hat, just the tip. If you jump up, you can actually see the hat a lot better, but this is the last and final location of all the hats. Again, with all the hats, you just need to hold square to pick them up. There is no sound notification whatsoever, so pay very close attention to see if the hat has disappeared or not. You can only hold one hat at once, so what I suggest you do is you find a hat, you take it back to the theater, and within the theater there's going to be 5 locations or 6 locations that you can place hats. What I like to do is place all 5 hats on the locations as follows, so you don't have to keep running around the map to pick them up again. This is just somewhere to put your hats to make what the next step is going to be a lot easier. Now the next step for this Easter egg, which is the last step for this Easter egg, you're going to have to put the hats down on the cheetah in front of the theater screen in a particular order. And the particular order is as follows. The first hat you're going to want to put down is the detective slash bowler hat. The second hat you're going to want to put on top of that hat is the grey looking Kangol Eminem kind of hat. The next hat on top of that is going to be the black hat with the small red triangle. That will be your third hat. You're then going to want to put the captain or the commander Richtofen looking hat on top of that again. And the last and final hat you're going to want to put down is the red hat. So from bottom to top it should be detective, the grey hat, the black hat, the captain hat, then the red hat. If you put the hats down in the correct order, you will get a notification sign of the leopard or tiger or whatever it is making a small growl sound. The sound is as follows. After that happens, you and your team will then start receiving points in a very weird particular order. You will first get 5 points, you will then get 2 points, and then you will get 1,945 points. Now to my knowledge, I am no historian, but on the 2nd of May 1945, which is the order of the points you get for this Easter egg, is when the Battle of Berlin actually ended. And not only will you get those particular points, every single one of your team members will get them as well. And after you have all received your points in turn, you will then get one of each of every single power up. That being a nuke, a max ammo, an insta kill, a double points, and also the power up that fills up your special meter. And that's all there is to this Easter egg. When you memorize these locations, it's going to be a lot easier in the future to do it very quickly, and this is something that can be very handy for when you're just about going to the boss fight. As you know, when you go into the boss fight, you need time to go up in the pod. You need a full max ammo so you can use your wonder weapon to get up into the actual Zeppelin. And it's also very handy to go into the boss fight with a full special meter. So to do this, just before you go in, you can pick up all 5 power-ups, run to the pod underneath the Zeppelin with your teammates, and be fully equipped to go straight up for the boss battle. Anyway homies, I hope this tutorial was of some use for you. I'd like to give a big shout out to my team members. We spent hours looking for the last hat, literally 3 or 4 hours looking for the last hat. Potsy Gaming, Brown Eyed Girl, and Ado, thank you very much. It's hella appreciated. Thank you for helping me out. But homies, this has been Dame. I hope you have an amazing day. Keep it positive, and until the next video,